First thing to consider with this tip about using hybrid clubs from a teeing ground is it is something you should be doing. I think some people consider that any par 4 or par 5, they're just instinctively going to reach for driver, take the head cover off and then look down the fairway. And any par 3, they're going to leave all the head covers in the bag and they're definitely going to use an iron. And that really misunderstands how hybrid clubs and fairway woods can be very versatile in both those situations. So the first consideration is try and find a couple of opportunities where you can use a hybrid club out on the golf course. On the par 4s and the par 5s, on the longer holes, hybrid clubs can be very useful and versatile, where distance is not the key priority, but accuracy and placement is. So what you should try and do is understand how far this club goes when you're practicing. So for my hybrid clubs, it goes 220. I practice with it on the driving range, it goes 220. So I then look on the golf course and think, well, where does 220 suit? If I've got a 310-yard hole, relatively short par 4, but the bunkers, the narrowness, the pond all creeps in at sort of 240, 250, then driver's not the option for me there. I don't want to try and hit a drive and try and get it up near the green. I want to hit a hybrid club 220, leave myself a good yardage in. So there'll be a time and a place where maybe a dog leg, or like I say, narrowing of bunkers or a pond, bringing the option of laying back a little bit further and playing a slightly longer second shot, but you're going to guarantee, or more likely guarantee, you should be on the fairway, because a hybrid club will normally be straighter than a 3-wood, which would normally be straighter than a driver. Just the nature of the shorter shaft and the more lofted head would generally keep the ball in play better. The other consideration for a club golfer is that so many club golfers are short or shorter than they think with their irons. So if you're on a, let's say, a 180-yard par 3, a lot of club golfers will instinctively reach for a mid-iron, thinking, well, in the past I have managed to hit my 6 or 7 iron 180, so I'm going to use it on this occasion. I'm going to try and hit it that far. Generally in that situation you won't reach, it won't go far enough. You're going to be in the front edge of the green. Now we know as golfers that most course designers are going to put the bunkers, the hazards, the hedges, the ditches in the front of the green. So suddenly you're hitting an iron that's landing in that area. So if you're constantly laying up short on par 3s, you're not hitting the irons quite as far as you think, don't be afraid of pulling a hybrid. Take your hybrid club out on those par 3s, try and fly the ball all the way to the back of the green. Generally what we'll see with a hybrid club is when it lands, it'll have quite a lot of height, so it'll come down and it'll stop. Again, perfect for those par 3s. It clears the danger at the front, it flies to the middle or the back of the green, and then it lands and it stops. So if I tee the ball up now, be this on a teeing ground for a par 4, par 5, or even for a par 3, I have the ball on a little tee peg. I can see around about half the top of the club from the camera's view. If it was teed down too low, I think it would just make it very difficult to hit. If it was teed up too high, I might feel like I'm going to go straight underneath the ball and sky it into the air. So when I have the ball on a reasonable sized tee, I then position the ball just about 3 balls widths away from my left heel. As a right-handed golfer, it's definitely towards the front half of my stance, but it's not as far forward as it might be with a driver and a 3-wood. I then go ahead, make my normal golf swing. The feeling here is I'm trying to just clip the leaves of the grass. I'm just trying to bruise the leaves of the grass. If I was too high, I might top it. If I was too low, I might sky underneath it and hit it heavy. So I can take the ball cleanly off the top of the tee peg there. It's in the air, it's in the air, it's in the air. And when it comes down, I get the sense that that ball's not going to roll too far. It's going to land, it's going to stop relatively quickly, which is perfect for that layup on the par 4, par 5 situation where I want distance control, or long par 3, I want that ball to come down and stop. And I can just see that I flicked the tee peg over, so I knocked the tee peg over, but I didn't gouge out the ground. And hopefully using those tips will give you reasons and opportunities to use hybrid clubs on the teeing ground.